Deconverted Man here on Twitter, ... Someone said something that caused me to want to talk about this particular subject. They said, I wish you knew my Jesus. His goodness is insurpassable. And I've seen this written and heard it said by theists of Christianity, of course. And I suppose it might have been said by other religions as well. Like, my God is love. My God is the best possible God that you could want, trademark, reserved, copyrighted, 1855, whatever, And their concept of this figure is wholly distinct from the character that you can read about. So you can read about the character Jesus as it appears in the Gospels. And you can assume that everything he says and does, he actually said and did. Then you can analyze those words and deeds. And you can say, is what he did good, bad, or other? Of course, then you have to say what you think good is. The benefit of the most amount of people. So, for example, Jesus is able, supposedly, to heal somebody's eyesight by rubbing dirt in their eyes, although he does it a different way at a different time by spit, and then he does it a different way by just, like putting his hand on them. Like, I don't even know that he has to touch you to heal you. And you say, well, that's pretty good for that one person or those two people. In fact, you can count up the amount of times that Jesus actually uses his powers to heal people, and it's not that many. There's a few, but not that many. So what's up with that? Why isn't Jesus healing all the blind people at once? Not just there in that particular village that he's visiting, but globally. Wouldn't that be better? Wouldn't that be the maximal good that he could do, if in fact he can do that? If he can only do it by touching, then why doesn't he just simply, travel the world and touch people and, heal them that way? And he could do this for all of time since he has that power, right? He can walk on water, so he doesn't even need a boat to get there. But if he's God, why does he even need to touch people? He could just do it, and he doesn't. So then you have this other problem of, well, even if you say that, yes, what he did was good for those people, there's a better good that he could have done. Should I judge him in light of that? But even if you set that aside and say, okay, well, Jesus had magic. He had superpowers or special powers. He had miracle, divine powers, but maybe he didn't have all the God powers because he was in the body of a mortal being or whatever. Judging him based solely on his words and actions, there are other problems. Jesus basically tells his disciples not to worry about washing their hands. That doesn't seem like a good thing to tell people. Especially, it doesn't seem like a good thing that you would want people to record you saying, because later on they might get the wrong idea. They might say, we don't need to wash our hands. Jesus, our leader, said not to worry about it. Now, because you can interpret writing, and as a being that is supposed to know this, Jesus would have to know that later on people are going to interpret his words in different ways, unless he doesn't know everything. because we're only told that he knows everything. Actually, Jesus never claims that, does he? And of course, you could even say that Jesus doesn't really even say that he's God. The closest he gets is saying, I am. But that's kind of, that might have been just written in there. So you get into problems with studying this character just from the pages alone, because there's questions that are raised naturally by reading about this character and trying to answer the question of if he is good or not. Is it... Oh, okay. Bang. Is it is it that what he's saying true or not true? Don't worry about tomorrow. That doesn't seem like a good advice to give. Be kind, be generous, and all these. Okay, that's good. But then, he's throwing out the money collectors in the church. It's like, that shouldn't have any place here. It's like, okay, that I can agree with that, but then why not tell them and also don't tithe, because you don't need money? Like, well, how is the church supposed to work, like, without money at all? And Jesus would have been pissed at mega churches, right? But they seem to have no problem with that. So why didn't Jesus take that time to explain why and how that's wrong and what they should do instead? Just saying that something is wrong doesn't seem to be enough. You need to explain, okay, well, what's right then? Like, stop telling me what's wrong. Tell me what you want. Like, don't tell me what not to do. Tell me what to do. What do I need to do to make you happy? Kind of thing. Don't just say that something is true. Show me that it's true. Maybe it is true. But my thing is, I'm a skeptic. I'm going to want you to show the data, and that's on you to do. It's not on me. The burden is on the one making the claim. So here's Jesus making different claims as he goes throughout his ministry, which doesn't seem to last that long, really. I mean, now, again, this is kind of things we're told, or that I was told throughout Christianity, is that Jesus is about 33 years old. Whatever ages, I don't know. But how long was he doing this ministry? Like, it doesn't seem like he was at it for very long. Like, if you take everything that he did, you could pack it in less than a year, maybe even a month. It might have taken a while to travel between places, but still, doesn't seem like he was around that long before he gets killed off. And then, of course, supposedly he comes back, although how that works is a whole nother story. And then when he gets back, he seems to have even more powers, but then he buggers off back into heaven before using them. So this character of Jesus, just judging by the words alone, doesn't seem to know that much. He does have some powers, but he doesn't use them in a way that would benefit the most amount of people. He says things that could be taken the wrong way, and that he knows that people might take the wrong, and supposedly knows that, well, maybe he doesn't know. That's the other thing. He seems very human. And sure, he gets tempted for a while to give it all up in order to get something else by some tempter in the desert when nobody was around and nobody could have possibly recorded that, but somehow it got written down anyways, because Jesus is totally the type of guy that would brag about something like that. It's not an all-seeing narrator, but at any rate, okay. But what are we supposed to learn from that? Like, what's the message here? Why aren't you breaking this down and you're giving these parables? And then he's saying things like, I put it all in this code so that only certain people will get it and that other people won't get it. Well, that doesn't seem very nice. So just analyzing this Jesus by what's written doesn't appear to be that good of a guy to me. Yeah, he's got some special abilities and stuff, and he does help some people, but then he does and says things that seem that they could and do harm to way more people, telling people not to wash their hands, or, well, He doesn't do that, but he says, don't worry about washing your hands. That's not a good idea, Jesus. You don't you know about germs? Brian, thank you for doing this. He's working on a thing for me, a side project. Anyways, okay. So when somebody says, I want you to know my Jesus, they're not talking about the guy that's written in those pages. Not really. They're talking about their concept of what Jesus is. And they have to be, because if you just critically analyze Jesus, you get to this, like I said, a superpowered person that says some good things, some bad things, and doesn't really help as many people as he could, and then buggers off into heaven when he's got super mega powers because reasons. So that's not a very good character. It's not a very good superhero. I wouldn't even say he's a superhero. He's just super. Like compare him to Superman. Superman does more good than Jesus. Okay, Superman does some harm too, no doubt. But he tries. And it seemed like Jesus kind of tries, but then kind of just buggers off. And it's like, well, So their story, though, their thing is when they see my Jesus or my God, they're picturing a being that they've extracted not just from these words alone, but the idea is something more to them. They've taken the abstract written character Jesus and they've imagined him as this perfect being of love and care. And they've used songs and sermons and the Bible and their own personal narrative to fill in the gaps. The idea that they put out there that, no, my Jesus is all love. You don't get it. You've rejected this false Jesus. There's a psychology to that. We try to empathize with other people. So we try to put ourselves in their shoes. That's extremely uncomfortable if that person doesn't happen to believe in what you believe. So when the person is an atheist and the other person's a theist, and the theist is trying to picture themselves, so to speak, as the atheist, is going to make cognitive dissonance go off like crazy. So to protect their own sanity in their brain, they're going to make excuses and explanations up for why it is that you don't believe these things. You just want to sin. You just want to be evil. You don't believe in love. Something I said once as a Christian, I really regret saying way back when. I told somebody that. I said, the reason you don't believe in Jesus, you don't believe in love. Wow. There's no way I could know that either. What a horrible thing to tell somebody. I don't know that. And even if it's wrong. But their version of Jesus, you didn't get to know that version, because if you had known that version, then you would never have left. You would have stayed on. If you knew the real Jesus, you wouldn't have left. You only left because you didn't know the real Jesus. And this seems logical in their mind. It seems like a perfectly good explanation. And now they don't have to feel bad when they put themselves in your shoes, because they can know in their brain, or think that they know, that, well, but it's not the same for me. See, I know the real Jesus. He left because he didn't ever meet the real Jesus. But I'm safe. I'll never leave because I know the real Jesus. So I don't have to feel like that I might leave my belief, because I have the real belief. He never had the real belief. He had a fake belief. uh oh 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 good. Just trying to stay on topic while looking at chat, having other projects on the side going on. Okay, so now I can't say with a certainty what somebody else is thinking or feeling or whatever. Nobody can do that. I've labeled that as a logical fallacy of special knowledge or mind reading. Although you could debate whether it's an actual fallacy or not, I suppose. Anyways, I don't think anyone can do it. I don't think anyone can know what's in your mind or your intentionality or whatever. But from what little I know, and trust me, it's a little, of psychology, and from what little I know of my own experience and what I know of logic and all of this, I can kind of suss out, or I can kind of figure out that when somebody is telling me, you need to know my Jesus is all love, it's better than all these other things, even when I say to them, you have surpassed Jesus, because the sort of person that they are is way better than Jesus ever was, at least from what I've seen. Now, I don't know everything about them. I don't know everything they've done, so probably they're not that good. But I'm saying it as a compliment, that as far as I'm concerned, they've done better, not only because they don't have the superpowers of Jesus, but that if they did have those superpowers, that I think that they would use them better than Jesus ever did. I could be wrong, of course, but you issue compliments, based on, I don't know, some subjective thing in your brain, I suppose. What data you have at hand. So when someone says you never believed in God, or you never believed in Jesus, or you don't believe it, you don't know my Jesus, they are talking in this abstract way that they have posited, they have created in their brain a perfect, loving being that if you only knew it, you too would understand what they understand. And of course, what I think that they're ultimately doing is picturing this thing that doesn't really exist, but they think that it exists. And the problem is, no, I know what you're talking about. I've experienced that. I have felt that. But I just don't view it that way anymore. I don't view it as being an actual thing. I view it as a product that my brain created. So your objection, your statement to me that I, don't know the real Jesus, well, you're assuming there is a real Jesus to know, and I'm saying, no, I knew that thing, and that thing, I don't see it that way anymore. But I used to, and they can't accept that, probably because it would cause cognitive dissonance. They also had said, now I'm not sharing the Twitter conversation or whatever, because even though it's on, it's public, it's the whole thing isn't relevant. Just the bits that I'm using for this are relevant. They said that we know Jesus by the people who claim his name. That this is how you are informed of Jesus, by the followers of Jesus. That could be true. I would worship lobster Jesus any day. Okay, just tweet her at me at Tweeter me at Brian. I love you, but tweeter me at. I can't do 2 topics at once. My brain will explode. Tweeter me at Brian. Thanks. Okay. I needed to take a break from all that. Anyways, so it's hard for the believer, and speaking for myself, when I used to believe, I didn't want atheists to miss out on this wonderful experience that I had. That was my sort of main thing. It's only later, now that I'm a skeptic, I found out, hey, not everybody can even experience that. So that's a problem. Uh-oh, people are home. Okay, well, anyways, this has been a talk on this. There's more to talk about, but I'm gonna go now. So, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed to Nazri, I wish I could say names, Nazrine's music. I hope that's how you say her name, because she's awesome and amazing and cool, and she's better than Jesus. So go check her out. I mean, check out her videos. Don't check her out. Don't. I mean, like, oh Bane.